Hey everyone, this is Authen-Tea-Cally Nyoka, and today we are with Miss Stephanie Baker Jones. I have been introduced to Miss Stephanie through working with her on an anthology project, and our relationship has evolved, and we continue to be supporting each other and a part of each other's lives. And I welcome it because she has wonderful gifts to share with our community. So I'm going to turn it over to Miss Stephanie and ask her, please tell us some more about who you are and how you do what you do.
Hello, everyone, and hello, community. Thank you for accepting me. I appreciate it because I was in need of a community, and so I really appreciate being embraced. Um, I'm kind of an educator, storyteller. That's who I have been, and the different things that I have to offer are just parts of myself. Back in the day, growing up in church, right? One of the things that the pastor would say that really resonated with me was each one teach one.
Yes,
And
each
so,
one
right?
teach
And so
one.
my life is a lesson, right? Everything that I've gone through, because again, 63, I'm going to be 64 on my birthday. And everything that I've learned, I feel like I need to get it out there. I need to teach someone before I leave here because that's the whole point.
And of course, we love it here. We absolutely love it here. Not just your academic accomplishments, and you didn't really go into that, but I know that you have been a surgical nurse, you have been a nurse educator for many different aspects of nursing. You are a military person. I mean, what the punch that you pack is phenomenal. You didn't get into all of that, but I know that what you want to teach and what you want to share is beyond that. So connect that all together for us, please.
Right. So, right. I started off actually in high school as a teacher. I taught CPR in high school, and I graduated high school as a CNA, certified nurse assistant. So
Ah,
I started life just as an educator. My father was an educator, but because of our country, he wasn't allowed to educate. So he's a genius, right? He was in the Navy. He was an I mean, smart, 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 but he was a black man.
yes,
So he didn't get to be that,
yes,
right? He didn't get to be a genius when we all
yes.
knew that he was,
When we
right?
all,
He didn't get to be an excellent educator because, he was so busy being, Jerry in the Navy who did all the work and didn't get any credit for it.
yes.
But anyway, so he was able to give me a love for education that, of course, has carried me my whole life, and to be independent. He was the one who first told me that never to have a job because a job kept you what? Just over broke, right?
Just over broke.
Just over broke, right? And so the funny story is in high school, right before I went to the Navy, I became an Amway distributor. Remember Amway?
Yes, Amway is still around.
Yes, I still
I
use it.
still get people asking me, yeah, if I want to become a distributor, Amway is still
I
around.
still use all their products. All my
Yes, because
I,
they are holistic health products.
and it's a business venture. So it's my business. I'm buying from myself
Yes.
for
Yes.
myself. So a lot of my stuff that I don't get it from Fred Meyer's or the supermarket. I get it from Amway. Like all of my cleaning supplies and stuff. I maybe in out of the 4 years, I've maybe bought cleaning supplies twice
Oh, okay. I
because they're
see.
good. They're concentrated and good. But anyway,
That's
so
another
I've
conversation.
been in business
Yeah.
since from my whole life. I've always had a business to supplement my life as
Yes.
with everything. Okay, so I was a teacher, started
Yeah.
as a teacher in the Navy, was in the Navy for however many years, 8 years, uh, and then got out, had babies, all that good stuff, became a mother, started on the relationship treadmill. um, Ended up getting out of the Navy, going into the Army after I went to nursing school. So I didn't go to nursing school in the Navy, which was my goal, because I wanted to be a Navy nurse because my father was in the Navy. My mother was a nurse, right? She was an LVN. But and our family was, of course, huge in a faith community. My grandparents were deacons of the church. My dad was Catholic. We tried that for half a minute. Nobody liked it, so we got out of that.
Okay.
But then my dad was like, "No, I don't think so," and he was raised by the nuns, right? He
Oh,
had the nun upbringing, but we didn't do
I
that.
had my fair share of nuns.
Yeah, see,
Yeah, in high school and junior high school. Yeah, we went to Catholic schools.
my father did. He was raised that way,
Yeah.
and so initially we all went to catechism classes, but
Yes, I
yeah,
remember those days. Yep.
no, didn't work out, and so we ended up going back to the Church of God in Christ.
The hand clapping churches.
Church of God in Christ, where everything was, but of course we all know the problem with that, at least for me, was that it's so misogynistic, number one, and they tell you stuff that's not accurate, right? Everything had, so I was called selfish quite a lot, and being selfish was a bad thing, right? So growing up in the church, you being selfish is a bad thing. And it's
Yeah.
always put out like it's a bad thing to do for yourself.
When you
So,
choose you, when you put you
you
first,
put you first. Like that's
yeah,
bad.
when you start thinking about how things affect you and how things make you feel, then
You're
you're
so
not
selfish.
taking the L for the congregation, right?
Well, and of course the bottom line is you were considered selfish if you didn't do for others that they wanted you to do. Right. So it wasn't that you weren't doing for yourself. It wasn't that you weren't taking care of yourself. It's that you weren't taking care of them in the way that they wanted you to take care of them.
Uh,
And so having been raised that way, so of course I went into the military. What is military? Selfless service. What is nursing? Selfless
this,
service. So
this,
I'm in the military as a healthcare provider. So I'm about everybody else,
right,
right?
right,
Because to take care of myself is problematic. That's not allowed,
right,
right? And
right.
of course, I'm good at what I do. I'm very intelligent. My father made sure I believed that and recognized that. And so that was never something that I was um, a stranger to or confused about. But I
Right.
had to try to figure out how to make my huge intellect not be a problem to the other people in my life. Because if you say that you're smart, then that's a problem, right? If you
Yeah,
act too
you're
smart,
not supposed to say that. You're supposed to like
if you
keep
act
it
too
on the
smart,
low.
that's a problem, right? You can't act smart. You can't be smart. I have a cup exactly like that. Two of them, actually. I should have brought my cups. I got two of them exactly like that. That red one. Okay.
Oh, like this cup
Yes,
has my
exactly.
name on
Or
it.
almost exactly. Oh, I don't. Not with your name on it.
Mhm.
I just
That's
have
my
red
name.
ones.
It was a gift.
That's a beautiful gift. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, no, I just it was always a big deal to try to pretend that I'm not as smart as I am,
Mhm.
right? And
We do a
especially
lot of that,
right.
pretending that we're not as smart as we are, pretending we're not as hurt as we
Yes,
are,
yes,
pretending that we're not as exhausted as we are.
all of
Yeah.
that, all of that
Yeah.
to comfort others.
Mhm.
And as a nurse, I, I'm and as a codependent, that's me, right?
When
So I
you
learned
say
about
as a codependent,
oh, have you so you know about codependency? Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm codependent, right? As a healthcare provider, and of course, a lot of people who are healthcare providers do turn out to be codependent, but I, recognize that, of course, because I'm always working on myself too. And so early on, the book Codependent No More was my first foray into, oh my God, I'm codependent. And of course,
Now,
most of the guys that I picked were alcoholics.
so this is another thing that I absolutely love about you, and that's why we gel really well, is because I love when you said you're always working on yourself.
Oh yeah.
You have introduced me to the book. It's called The Work.
Oh, no, love what happens. Byron
Love
Katie,
what you
loving what is, loving what is,
Loving what is, and
loving
I
what is.
absolutely
Ah,
love it. I
girl.
absolutely love that book because this is the work that we do inside of my coaching. This is the
Yeah,
work that we do inside of self-development and inside of growth. And there are so many different ways to do it, to hear it. I think that it takes a particular thing to unlock it for you. And once it's unlocked, then you can see it everywhere. So the reason why we gel so well is you're always recommending these excellent books that lend growth and development and awakening and self-awareness. And this is essentially what this is all about, especially as healthcare professionals and
right.
caregivers. If we're not doing that for ourselves, we're really in deep shit.
But how can you teach anybody else? And again, my whole, it's like, did you ever watch Star Trek? My
Yes.
prime directive is to teach others. I'm an educator. I'm a storyteller. My prime directive is to teach people what you know. And so when you know stuff, you teach it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And how do you
Absolutely.
learn? How do you learn best? By teaching it.
By doing the thing,
By teaching it.
by
Once I
teaching
get
it
something, right?
and doing it.
Right?
Yeah.
So once I get something, the best way to get it here for good is to teach someone else.
This is so true. This is
Right?
so true.
So the whole each
Which
one
helps
teach
me
one.
to understand how much of alignment this is. It's so much of an alignment. So I am introducing Miss Stephanie to the community because we're going to be working together to develop some CEs for you all, some CEs that will align healthy living and self-care, self-awareness, or mindfulness. We're going to work together to merge the two so that we can offer you CEs here. And I'm not talking about the CEs that you sit down and you click through, because every single time you have to do CEs, you choose the same ones.
Yeah.
No, we want our CEs to be impactful in your life, to really hone in on some of the things that we don't really pay attention to inside of our health professionals practice, whether it's nursing, respiratory therapy, whether it's, as far as I'm concerned, even being a secretary, a unit secretary, or just working in healthcare, period. You're bombarded with so much of what other people want that if you don't get a grip, a hold, a handle on you and how you feel inside of all of that, you'll just become an empty vessel that walks around a healthcare facility like there's nothing inside.
Right.
And we can't manage that.
You can't. You can't.
So Miss Stephanie, tell us some more about the plans that you have for the CEs, because you are the genius. I may be delivering them, but you are the genius behind it all. So tell us some more.
Well, so it all comes from my company, right? So you see, Layout Productions, and the funny thing is so again, I was an Amway distributor way back when, in the, I say early 80s. But by that time, I had moved to San Diego, or I had been stationed. I was stationed in San Diego. I was with one baby daddy. Actually, it was my second. and we had moved to San Diego from Orange County, and I wanted to do a business, but I was doing Amway, right? He hated Amway, which is like I don't know why, but I just like I had to have my own business, you know. But of course, you know, looking back on it is because he was a man who didn't want to not be first. You know, he had to be, you know, in charge of everything. But I didn't roll like that. I just didn't. And so my business that I put together was actually the combination of both of our names. Actually, our both of our mothers' names. His mother's name was Lanice, and my mother's name is Alice. So that's why we got Leal Productions.
Oh.
That
And
and
you've
so
kept it all these years?
Yeah, because that's what it was. I mean, I made that not just for him, but we were together. So the business that I was creating was for us because we
Yeah.
had one son. It was for us, and it was. Or did we had my no? We had my daughter by then because my son was a different baby daddy. Yeah, I'm one of them ladies, but that's okay. I don't mind. And so this was my second baby daddy, and so his whole thing was he was adopted, and so he never had any natural children. So he kind of had uh, something going on with that, an obsession with her in and of itself. But anyway, Layout Productions was what I considered to be our company. And so that's why I named it after the both of us. He didn't want to participate. So again, I can't say nothing about that. But the second part is the real part. REAL, real knowledge, relevant education, and lifelong knowledge.
Love that.
Right? Because
Yes.
again, you're always having to learn. You're always learning. Every day is a learning. And if you don't apply your learning to your life, what's the point? Ian Van Sant, I can't remember exactly which book it is, but she talks about life as a course. This
That's
is
right.
a course called life.
That's right.
And you can't do your work looking at somebody else's paper.
That's right. I love it. I love it. You
Right?
cannot do your work looking at somebody else's paper.
Nope. You got to do your own
Life
work.
is a course. You have to do your own
Yeah.
work. You
And you'll
can't
hear
cheat.
her say that all
There's
the
no
time.
cheat code.
You'll hear her say that all the time. Do your own work. You can't do nobody else's work.
Mm-mm.
Right? And then you factor in Byron Katie, who says 3 types of business: my business, your business, and God's business. I can't do nobody else's work. I got to do my own.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So that's
So
what my company is about. It's about teaching. And so when I learned things, so like in my first book, Journey to Self, How to Get Back to You, when I was working with my coach, she says, "Who are you talking to? Who's your audience?" And so I thought, "Ooh, my daughter, right? Black women." So I wrote the book talking to Black women because that's the audience. I'm talking to? I mean, Black people in general, Black women specifically.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I am just excited to work with you. I think that you have some valuable things to give to us. I receive it all. I receive it all. So I cannot wait to see what that unfolds to, what it looks like. We will definitely keep the community up to date as to what we're working on, how we're working on it, and when we're going to launch it. I'm very excited
Yes.
to be offering CEs in our community. So please, everybody, tell your friends, go get them. Tell them, hey, this is what's going on. This is different. It's not what you're typically used to. So come on and get some.
And we want to hear about what kinds of things they want to hear about, right? Because I'm talking about. So I mean, obviously CEs are going to be health related and or with some mindfulness. We got to stay within certain parameters, but things that are going to help you take care of yourself so you can take care of your patients. Take care of yourself so you can take care of your family. So and learning about your own body. That was the main thing that I, as being a surgical nurse and teaching nursing, was I get to learn about myself, and
Yes.
I get to see what the AMA is teaching about Black people, and it's not right, it's not correct, it's not accurate, and I don't appreciate that.
That's some of the stuff I want to learn about. I want to learn about what is being taught out there and what we truly experience, and teach what we truly experience versus the stereotypes,
Right,
versus, the numbers and statistics that don't include us.
right.
Like, these are the things that I really want to get into. I want to learn, so that we can speak intelligently when we speak to people about what's actually going on, inside of healthcare. We can speak intelligently. So I look forward to it all. I look forward to seeing what is divinely inspired. So, Miss Stephanie, thank you so very much for being our guest today.
Yay.
You are a colorful personality that we want to keep here inside of our community and grow and nurture, and just be our best selves. I think we all want that. So,
Yay.
again, thank you so very much for spending this short time with us.
You're welcome.
And everyone else, until next time, with Authen-Tea-Cally Nyoka. Peace.
Peace.